again, children. Now, today, the next part of our uploads, we are going to talk about the Westminster model of government. In the previous video, you can remember that I briefed the entire features of the Donomore government system, and today I am going to talk about the Westminster model of government. Okay, so the Westminster model of government mean actually the government system introduced by the British to the world. So the Westminster Parliament is found in Great Britain. You know the Westminster Abbey, the church, and the Westminster Parliament. So this system of government was introduced as a kind of a unique model which was special to Great Britain. The main feature of this government system is that the Prime Minister and Cabinet are exercising the executive power. So executive powers are exercised by a Prime Minister and Cabinet. Basically, in the Westminster model of government, Prime Minister and Cabinet are elected from the Parliament, and they are elected from the Parliament. Basically, after general election, the winning party's leader is appointed as the Prime Minister by the nominal executive. Especially in Great Britain, it's the Queen or the King, and after that he functions as the Prime Minister. So under the advice of Prime Minister, the Cabinet is appointed. So this is how the executive is elected in the Westminster model of government. There are several other features which are unique to the Westminster model of government. Basically, it depends on, it is based on the political party system, because always that the winning party leader is elected as the Prime Minister, then there should be political party system. So without political party system, you can't actually exercise this kind of a government system. So the parties are essential in the Westminster model of government. At the same time, in a Westminster model, the Parliament is treated to be a supreme institution. The Parliament supremacy is Parliament is the central institutions of the government which make laws. So this is the Parliament supremacy is a very important concept, Parliament sovereignty, because there are no other institutions which can challenge this power of the Parliament. Therefore, Parliament is the main institution in which the government, the Prime Minister, Cabinet, opposition leader, all these are meeting, together in order to discuss the country's important matters. So the Parliament plays the most significant role in the cabinet system of government. Therefore, Parliament is the most important issues. The other main feature is that the cabinet of ministers, Prime Minister and Cabinet, they all are answerable to the Parliament. Collectively, they are responsible and answerable to the Parliament. The Parliament always ask questions, and this Prime Minister and Cabinet are answerable to the Parliament. They are supposed to give answers to the Parliament. And the other one is Parliament's controls the government led by the Prime Minister and Cabinet, because the Parliament can bring a kind of what you call no confidence motion. Understand? Through no confidence motions, the Parliament can control the government. They can remove the Prime Minister and Cabinet. And the other feature is the Cabinet is led by the Prime Minister, and the Cabinet consists of the members elected from the Parliament. That's the most important feature. Now, if you take a mixed system or a semi-presidential system of government, like in France, President can even appoint members outside the Parliament. Even externally, he can elect some members, persons externally from the Parliament for the post of Prime Minister and the ministers, etc. But in England, in Westminster model of government, definitely the Prime Minister should elect the ministers from the parliament itself, which means that the winning party a leader is appointed as the Prime Minister, and all other members of the winning party are appointed as the ministers. Okay. Then the other one is actually the judiciary has no powers in controlling the presidential. The judiciary has very less powers in making influence in the lawmaking powers of the parliament. Usually, if you take a country like America, the judiciary has the judicial review power. Review power means the judiciary can check the constitutionality of the bills or the laws made by the parliament. But when it comes to a Westminster model of government, actually the Supreme Court cannot make such influence in the parliament, so which means that the laws made by the parliaments are not subject to the judicial review. That's a very important feature of a Westminster government system. Okay. And the other one is the legislature is basically two house or bicameral. It's not an essential feature because there are some countries where the single house parliaments are existing in a cabinet system of government. It's not an essential one, but the members are elected basically through the first past the post system or the simple majority system. So in this way, these are the major features of a Westminster model of government. Then solbury actually Great Britain, when they established this institution called Parliament, they included all these features to make the Parliament more stronger than the king. After the glorious revolution in 1688-89, the king's powers were taken to the Parliament, and king was made just a puppet. So they wanted to empower the parliament to address the issues of the country and take decisions individually. That is why they established such a strong parliament after the Glorious Revolution. Professor A.V. Dicey says that the British Parliament has powers to do anything except converting a male into female and female into male. So such a huge important power is there with the British Parliament, because no one can resist these powers, because it's a very important great power that possessed by the British Parliament. So actually the Solbury Constitution introduced in 1947-48 did not have such a supremacy in the Parliament. The Parliament did not have a kind of Parliament sovereignty as it was in Great Britain, because Parliament's powers of lawmaking had been curtailed, had been restricted or limited by several provisions, especially the Article 29(2) says that the Parliament cannot make laws which are restricting the freedoms of the specific religious or minority groups, the laws which give some special benefits by discriminating the benefit to one particular community, discriminating the other community, or the laws which make influence in the constitutions of some religious institution. So these kind of laws cannot be made by the parliament. At the same time, the British Parliament, if the Sri Lankan Parliament make a request, the British Parliament had the powers to make laws regarding Sri Lanka. And the other drawback of this one was the Governor General had the final powers of giving assent for the bills of the parliaments, and also the judicial review power indirectly was given to the Supreme Court. So due to all these features, you must understand the Solbury Parliament did not enjoy the Parliament supremacy, and also the powers of the Parliament was controlled by the Parliament itself, because the second chamber or the Senate had the powers to delay the laws made by the Parliament. So due to bills made by the Parliament, due to all these features, you can understand, children, the Solbury Parliament was not a sovereign institution or a supreme institution. So next day, the next video will be discussing about the compositions, powers, and all other features related to the solbury constitution, solbury government reforms, and also a comparison between solbury and 1972 first republican constitution we can do in the next lessons. Okay, right, everyone.